ஆரம்பிச்சிருச்சு. அப்ப கொஞ்சம் மேல ஏத்திட்டா வரும். கொஞ்சம் மேல தூக்கு. மேல தூக்கு. இங்க இருக்கு. அப்ப நீ ஆரம்பிச்சு. அவர் ரெடியா மாறி
A pleasant morning to one and all gathered here who joined through the virtual platform for the national webinar on personal finance literacy. It learn to manage your personal income. This webinar is organized by the PG Department of Commerce Self-Finance, Jamal Muhammad College, Trichy. Let us begin the program with the prayer. I invite Dr. L. Asid Ahmed to recite a few verses from the Holy Quran. Thank you, Asid. In a particular mistakes increases our experience. Experience decreases our mistakes. The beautiful thing about today is that you get the choice to make a better than yesterday. I invite our head of the department, PG Department of Commerce Self-Finance, Dr. E. Mubarak Ali sir, to welcome the gathering.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Most respected Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Most respected Secretary and Correspondent of our College Management Committee, Revered Treasurer Sahib, esteemed Assistant Secretary Sahib, beloved Dr. K.N. Muhammad Abdul Qadir Nihal, Member Honorary Director, beloved Principal, Vice Principal, Additional Vice Principal, Director, Hostel Administration, Director, Women Hostel, Head of the Department of Commerce, Aided Wing, learned professors, Organizing Secretary, Dr. Zakir Hussain, dear colleagues, participants throughout the nation, research scholars, and my dear student friends. At the outset, let me extend a warm, cordial, and hearty welcome to all of you for this national webinar on personal finance literacy organized by the PG Department of Commerce Self-Financing Wing. Let me extend a hearty welcome to our Honorable Secretary and Correspondent of our College Management Committee, who is the guiding force for all the activities take place in the college in general and in the Department of Commerce, SF in particular. I extend a warm welcome to you, sir. My hearty welcome to our esteemed Treasurer Sahib. Sir is also having keen interest in the development of the college in general and in the Department of Commerce, SF particular. Let me extend a warm welcome to you, sir. My hearty welcome to our revered Assistant Secretary, sir, for his source of inspiration and motivation in the activities take place in the Department of Commerce. Let me extend a warm welcome to you, sir. My hearty welcome to the member and honorary director, Director Hostel Administration, and Director Women Hostel for their encouragement and support and to this national webinar. I extend a warm welcome to our beloved principal, who is the source of motivation for all the academic activities which we carried out in our department. Whenever we approach our beloved principal regarding any help regarding the academic matters, immediately sir will say, yes, okay, you can proceed. So in that way, he is having keen interest in all the departments and particularly in the Department of Commerce. I extend a warm welcome you, sir. My hearty welcome to our Vice Principal and Additional Vice Principal for their moral support and encouragement in all our academic activities. I extend a cordial welcome to our distinguished chief guest, Janab Muhammad Arif Sahib. I take this opportunity to thank him for his ready response to act as a resource person and to deliver a lecture on the personal finance literacy, that is, learn to manage your personal income. I extend a hearty welcome to our distinguished chief guest. Sir is a thought leader, motivational speaker, leadership trainer, investment consultant, and a business coach. He is specialized in spreading and empowering people to realize their true potential, and he is associated with multinational corporations and educational institutions. Our chief guest experience and association with people from various domains, which will help him to effectively manage people and their behavior. He is very creative and possesses excellent interpersonal management skills. He is having so far conducted number of training programs on people management, leadership, communication skill, and sales skill in various organizations and institutions in nurturing goals towards positive results. Our chief guest is having 12 years of experience in the training domain with core competency includes programs on corporate etiquette, change management, behavioral sciences, personal finance, literacy, and soft skill workshops. He is having been actively associated with people of various cultural backgrounds to bridge the areas in communication and comprehend the changing needs of an organization. With strong passion in human research and behavioral study, he has made the reality to create niche consistency. He has been acted as a resource person in Radian Oil and Gas Company, GPIG Saudi Arabia, HAKA Group, Canoes, Crescent Engineering College, New College. The list is a very lengthy one. Due to the paucity of time, I'm cut short the introduction. So in this memorable occasion, once again, let me extend a hearty welcome to our chief guest, Janab Muhammad Arif Saab, for accepting our invitation and to deliver the lecture on personal finance literacy in the virtual platform. Let me extend a hearty welcome to you, sir. I extend a hearty welcome to all the heads of the departments and the professors who are participating in this webinar through virtual mode all over the country. I also extend a hearty welcome to all the colleagues who are taking part in making this program a grand success. I thank the organizing secretary, Dr. Zakir Hussain, for taking much pain and effort in making this webinar a grand success. And also various professors who assisted him, helped him in the conduct of this virtual webinar. Once again, let me extend a hearty welcome to each and every one of you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Smile are great investments. The more you collect, the better you feel. I request our chief guest, Mr. Muhammad Arif, behavioral science and personal finance trainer, business coach and management consultant, Irum Consulting, Chennai, to inaugurate the session and deliver the keynote address on personal finance literacy. Please, sir.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to everyone. I hope I'm audible. If I'm not audible, just let me know before I could just say anything else. Please, someone could just mention if my voice is audible. Sir, am I audible? Is my voice coming? Because I would just like someone to just send a message or reply back before I just start continuing.
Yes, sir, audible, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. All right. Thank you so much, sir, for the lovely introduction and for inviting me as well for this forum. It's a pleasure and an honor to be associated with an esteemed institution like Jamal Muhammad College. And I'll take this opportunity to introduce, or rather to speak about a topic which is the personal finance literacy, and a subject which not many of us have learned not many of us, practice it in the right way. We do. We all have, what do you say? We all do savings. We all learn to save from our childhood. We are taught to save. But how do we save in the right manner? How do we, spend our money in the right manner? How do we invest our money in the right manner? This is what we'll be discussing over the period of next 45 minutes or so. So I don't know if I'll be able to share my screen. Let's see if it is possible. Yes, I'm able to share my screen. I do have a brief presentation on how we'll go about it. English is okay, or shall I mix English with Tamil? Rendume paste. My Tamil is not very good, but I can mix it in both languages if you want. So yes, now the the topic is made about personal finance literacy. What we're going to learn here today is we would learn on, our financial freedom through wealth creation. I'm not saying that we need to earn extra money. Not necessary. We can do it if we plan our own income, our salaries, our income, whatever we have, our sources right now. With the same thing, when we plan it more effectively, we are able to create wealth. Now, for creating wealth, what is required is very important. What we need to do is we need to increase our assets. Now, assets in financial terms, is earning a property or owning, having ownership of something is called an asset, right? But here, when we say an asset, I have a definition for it, wherein we say an asset is something that makes money for you. Let me say, for example, if we say, I own a car. The day I purchase the car that comes out of the showroom, it depreciates by its value by 20%. So means and it's not going to make money for you. It's reduced your value. You purchase a car for 10 lakh rupees. You brought it out of the showroom. It becomes 8 lakh rupees, right? But the same car, it was purchased as a taxi. The taxi generates revenue for you. So let's say we keep the car value for say 3 years. So in 3 years, we generate revenue from, we generate an income from our taxi. And after 3 years, you sell depreciations come out, you get money out of it, and then you sell the car and make more profits out of it. So the same product, a two-wheeler, we buy a two-wheeler, it depreciates. We buy an expensive mobile phone. You have this iPhone, which is on 80,000, 1 lakh rupees. You purchase it, come out of the showroom, 20%. The value is reduced by 20%. So it's not making money for you, and plus it's not appreciating. So the second one is it should appreciate. It should appreciate. Let's say, for example, I buy a house for myself, a house where I'm going to live. Okay. So if I'm going to live in that house is not going to give me an income. If the value of the house appreciates, okay, I'm still not going to sell it because I purchased it for myself. So a house built for me living into it is not an asset. A house purchased for the purpose of giving it on rent and then selling it further is an asset. Buying a shop, a commercial place, keeping a grocery store, maliga kada, you can have that, and giving that on rent is generating rent, and plus it is appreciating over a period of time. And third, it should make money even when you're sleeping, in the sense your presence is not required. And when I say a taxi, you're not going to drive the car. A taxi driver is going to drive the car. When I say you're going to get rental income, you have to, you're not going to work for it. You purchase the house, you give it on rent, month on month, you get the rent. So you create an income. or you have you write a book. A book is an asset. You write it one time, it's published, the book is sold. It's sold lifetime. So as long as it is being sold, you get royalty for it. So that is an asset. So the entire game about creating wealth, it depends on the amount of assets that we build for ourselves over a period of time. These assets are not built overnight. These assets are not attained overnight. They are accumulated over a period of time. Now, let's discuss on what are the types of assets that are there. I briefly defined it into 5 different groups as how we can accumulate our assets, or how we can generate our assets, how we can increase our net worth, is what I've done now. But before we go to the assets, we need to know one more thing, is inflation. So when I am making my money grow, when I'm making my salary grow, I have to beat inflation. Now, what is inflation? Inflation is nothing but the price at which, the percentage at which the price of products increase over a period of time. Let's say, for example, you are buying a product, you are buying a phone for 1 lakh rupees, example. After 1 year, if the inflation is at 5%, okay, the value of the same phone is 1,05,000. So, which means your money is devalued by 5% over a period of time. Which means if I have 1 lakh rupees today, to have same equivalent to 1 lakh rupees after a year, I should have 1,05,000 rupees. The current inflation rate is 6%, so it should be 1,06,000. So it keeps changing, it's between 4% and 7%. So when we make investments, when we are getting a return, if, for example, let me say, we put in a fixed deposit. We put 1 lakh rupees in a fixed deposit. One year you get 5% interest. So your money becomes 1,05,000 after 1 year, whereas inflation is 6%. So your money is not increased by 5,000 rupees, it is reduced by 1,000 rupees. It should actually be 1,06,000 to have the same value of money after 1 year. So any kind of investments, any kind of return that you're looking into, you have to look in with terms of inflation. Because, for example, you would have purchased a house or something 10 years before. It would cost you around 30 lakh rupees. Today, the same would be 1 crore rupees. That is inflation. Petrol 2 years before it was 70 rupees. Today it is 100 rupees. That is inflation. Our rice, dal, cooking oil, all that is increased over a period of time. That is inflation. So we need to grow our money with inflation, right? So if you are getting a 7% return with inflation of 6%, means your real return is only 1%. So that is how you need to look into your investments. So before you put money into fixed deposits or you're putting in any insurance schemes, you need to know what is your return. Is your money growing with inflation, which is very important. So what are the types of assets, or how we can build assets, which has been categorized into 5 different points? One, the best way to actually increase your net worth or increase your asset is to own a business. When I say business, I don't mean self-employment. A doctor, sitting in his clinic is self-employment. A doctor running a hospital is business. Why? Because an asset is where you make money when you sleep, which means the doctor need not be running the hospital. There are other people working, there are other doctors working, there are other medical paramedics and medical staff working there. So they are generating the revenue for it. A grocery store or a supermarket. A grocery store, the owner has to sit in the grocery store to sell products. Supermarket, the owner does not sit. So where someone is making money for you or working for you, Your presence is not required for the business. That is called a business. Otherwise, it's called self-employment, right? But again, business, every one of us, we cannot do business. We don't have the skills to do business. Everyone does not have it. Or we need to develop our skills to do business. We need the resources. Either we need the financial resources for doing business. We should know the product know-how. We should know the market. There's a lot of things before someone does a business. So there is no business that is a good business or a bad business. Every business is good. The business success and failure depends on the way we implement our strategies, the way we implement our ideas, the way we, take the business forward. So business fails because of mistakes done in the business, not because of the business. For example, you will see two restaurants. Restaurant A selling biryani, for example. Restaurant B selling biryani. Restaurant A is doing good business. He is making good sale. Restaurant B is not making good sale. So the biryani business is not a problem. The way, maybe the hygiene is not there, maybe the taste is not there with restaurant B, maybe the pricing is very high or not, compatible with the area he's got a restaurant. So it's very important to do the business in a right manner. Now, everybody cannot start a business because I don't have the skill set for it, we do not have the expertise for it, or we do not have the resources for it. So what if we don't have a business? Because we can always invest in a business. Now, investing in a business is something I would come back to again, because I would like to discuss this in detail. So I'll skip this for now. We'll come back to this point again towards the end. The third is investing in commodities. Investment in commodities, such as, when I say commodities is, silver, gold, iron, you can also, even cardamom, yelakai is also commodity, steel is a commodity. But let's make it more simple. Let's make it more easy. I say investing in gold and silver. First in gold, second will be in silver. Now, gold, when I say gold, I do not mean jewelry. Gold jewelry is the worst investment anybody can make. I'll explain why. When we buy gold jewelry, first we pay for making charges. Now that making charges depends. I was just checking with Tanish online. It says 21%. Some places it is 15%. You pay for wastage, which is again around 8 to 10%. You pay a GST, which is 3%. So effectively, if the gold per gram is 5,000 rupees, example, you are paying 20% more than the value. So how many years will that gold increase to get the same value back? What do you mean to sell it? You cannot sell it with wastage and GST. You will sell it at 5,000 rupees. You pay 5,000 rupees plus 20%, roughly around 6,000 rupees you buy it for, but you'll be selling it at 5,000 rupees. If there's an increase in gold price by 5-10%, we'll still be selling it at 5,500, making a loss. So the worst investment is buying gold jewelry. The second option of buying gold is gold coins. Gold coins also has making charges. It is a little lesser than jewelry. If it's around 5% or 7%, depending from the retail outlets that are there. So gold jewelry, gold coins, both have making charges, both have your wastage, both have a GST of 3%. Not a good investment. One of the worst investments someone can make. People say that I have invested in gold, but if you've invested in gold jewelry, it's a wrong investment. Because if you're going to sell it tomorrow, you will be making a loss in the sale. Third is to buy gold in digital form. In digital form, you can buy it from your banks, you can buy it from brokers, you can buy it from online platforms that is there. And these are all regulated by the government of India. So very safe to buy. But again, when you're buying it on Here, what happens is when you buy in digital form, you don't get the gold. The gold is allocated in your name. The gold is stored in a locker. The gold is insured as well. You don't have it in physical form. You will have it in a digital form. So here, you still pay GST of 3%. Okay? There is something called a spread. A spread is nothing but the locker charges and the insurance charges which you will pay. So that will, from company to company, from bank to bank, they have between 3% to 6%. So when you buy gold in digital form, again, you will be paying around 6 to 9% more than the gold price. After a few years, you want to sell it, you can sell it. If you want to convert into physical gold and get physical gold, you can get it. Okay. But if you are selling it and there is a capital gain, that is, you bought for 5,000 and you sold for 6,000, then on the 1,000 rupees, there is a capital gain tax that you it's still a better than purchasing physical gold or gold jewelry. Digital gold is better. Then there's another option, the fourth option, which is called sovereign gold bonds. Sovereign gold bonds are bonds that are normally issued by the RBI directly. Here, in reality, there is no gold involved. So the RBI comes out with a bond wherein you just invest depending on the value of the gold. Say, for example, if the value of gold is 5,000 rupees a gram, the gold bond will be at least around 100 to 120 rupees or lesser than the market price. One. Second, what happens is there's a lock-in period for 8 years. You can fix the gold is invested for a period of 8 years. So the gold price increases over a period of time. And when it increases over a period of time, so after 8 years, anytime you can withdraw the money. If you have it in a digital, in a demat form, you can even sell it after 5 years. Now the benefit here. Benefit is, one, you will buy in multiples of 1 gram. Second, there is no GST. Third, there is no spread, no insurance, no storage cost, nothing. And most importantly, you're buying it at a discounted price. When you sell the gold bond after 5 years or 8 years, there is no capital gain tax. The total gain that you make is tax-free. So this is an investment. I would say always this kind of investment, people should invest, like say, for example, you want to invest for your daughter's wedding. So you can always buy as low as 1 gram and multiples. Right now, very frequently, there are different tranches that the RBI comes up with. There's one more coming in September. This is the last for 2021. So you can buy it in grams. Each time it comes, you can buy how much more money you have. Benefit. During your daughter's wedding, what you can do? You can sell the bond. So you purchase in today's price, you sell it after 8 years or 10 years. You get the money of 10 years. 10 years later, what the price of gold is, you get that. So you use that money to purchase the gold. If you purchase jewelry today, the designs change. There are a lot of the price changes. The gold can get old. You'll have to polish it. So there's a lot of things. So the best way to, again, if you want to invest in commodities, one of them is gold, the other one is silver, gold in particular. And the best way to invest is to go with gold bonds. Gold usually increases in price on an average of 6 to 8% per annum. So if you look into an 8 years or 10 years and investing in small amounts, you accumulate it for your daughter in particular, or if you want to buy gold in future for any purpose, this is the best way to invest rather than buying everything today and storing it. The third one is to invest in real estate. Real estate, again, it is one of an investment which gives you a growth which is around 10-12% growth on an average it gives. But again, like business, everybody cannot buy real estate. Why? Because real estate is expensive. You need a lot of money to buy. I would never say to buy real estate on loans. Because, for example, if you're buying a property worth 50 lakhs, you're taking a loan, paying it for 15 years, you will be paying roughly around 65 years, 65 lakhs, which means that even if your asset is appreciating, even if it's appreciating, your interest that you're paying on the loan is reducing the value of your asset. So I would say, if you have the money, you can invest in a small commercial property, like a small shop, give it on rent. Okay, you can invest in agricultural land. Okay. Farming can be done. There are a lot of companies who actually take your land on lease or on rent, and or partnership with you, and they would do organic farming these days. Organic farming is a huge market in India now, and the profits are shared with you. So real estate, again, when I say real estate, you need to invest without taking a loan, or take very minimal loan, okay, and then invest into it. That property or that asset should give you a return. Either it should be a rental income, or it could be an income through through farming or anything, agriculture. It depends on what it is. If it's not going to give you an income, do not invest in it. One drawback in a real estate is, say for example, I have a property worth 50 lakhs and I want 10 lakh rupees. I would need to sell the entire 50 lakhs. I cannot sell, if I have a 2-bedroom apartment, I cannot sell 1 bedroom and 1 hall. I have to sell the entire apartment. And disposing a property always takes time. So you need to always calculate on how you make your investments depending on the funds that you need. First one is intellectual property. Intellectual property, as I mentioned in the initial stages, where you can write a book. A book is your intellectual property. You can prepare courses. I do have courses on behavioral science, which is available on my website. Now, what happens is we invest our time just once. Even in your colleges, for example, you will have certain textbooks by certain authors, by certain publishers, right? Now, these authors have made the book just once. There might be different editions that come in with different new updates, but the author is the same. So as long as these books are being sold, you keep getting royalty. So either you make courses, you make, if you have any skills, you teach those skills. The skills can be in a video form, it can be on YouTube. If you like writing, you can become a blogger. If you like designing, you like photography, you like painting, you can. Those are your intellectual properties. These don't give you immediate return. It does take till people get to know that you have this, and you're putting it on various platforms for sale. So this is something you would put it, and someone. I have a course which is online. I have it on Udemy, on Teachable, on Uplearn, and also on my own website. So here what happens is people would purchase even when you're sleeping. Someone, I have people who purchasing, someone from South Africa, someone from Cambodia, someone from, Azerbaijan, someone from Sri Lanka, from India, even from Europe. So people from across the globe purchase your design, your course, your painting they wanted. So these are intellectual properties which you can develop provided you have the skill. Now, coming back, I had just stopped on investing in a business. Like I had mentioned that everybody cannot start a business, but can we invest in a business? Yeah, my answer to this is yes. So how can you invest in a business? How much money do you need to invest in a business? What are the ways of investing in a business? One way is investing in a startup. So you do not want to start, but you know somebody who wants to start up a business. And you can invest in the startup if you have more money. Again, investing in startups is always very risky because the possibility of the startup being successful or becoming a failure, it's very high. Of failure chances are very high in startups. So unless and until you're confident about the idea, you are confident about the implementation or the strategies that have been put into, the business plan is completely in place. You have a complete know-how of what are you going to be down the line over a period of time. Then investing in a startup is one. The second one is you can invest in stocks. You buying a share of a company is you becoming a partner of a company. Let's say, for example, Tata Motors is there, okay, or Reliance is there. So you can buy one of their share. You're investing in their business. How will you earn? But if you are investing in the right company, if you are investing in the right business, okay. So if the business is doing well, you make money. Now here, what you're doing, you just put your money there. People, the employees of Reliance, the management of Reliance are working to grow your money. Of course, their money is also growing, but they are working on growing your money. Right? So one is you can directly invest in stocks, but there are some difficulties in investing in stocks. What are the difficulties? There are more than 5,000 companies that is listed. Now, are all these 5,000 companies good companies to invest? No. We should have knowledge on investing. Everybody of us do not have knowledge on how to purchase a stock, which stock to buy. We need to understand the fundamentals, the technicals, the quantitative analysis. We see the P ratios. A lot. I'm not going to go into the technicalities, but we need to understand that if I'm going to invest in a company, if I'm going to invest in one company, 5 companies, 10 companies, but I have to select these 10, 20 companies from 5,000 companies. So which are the companies I need to invest? That is, you need to understand when to invest, which companies to invest, and that is a skill that we need. Third one, which is comparatively the most easiest, is investing in mutual funds. Now, what is mutual funds? Mutual funds is nothing but, let's say you want to invest 500 rupees. I want to invest 1,000 rupees. Somebody wants to invest 10,000 rupees. So like this, all of us, we are all retail investors. We all are retail investors. So we would accumulate, the asset management companies. There are a lot of asset management companies like SBI, ICICI, DSP Merlin, Franklin Templeton, then Nippon India is there, Tata Mutual Funds, Reliance Mutual Funds. There are 47 different companies, 40 plus different companies in India alone. Now, what they do is there's a particular fund. Now, there are different kinds of funds. I will not go into details into it. There are different kinds of funds. So here, what will happen is you would invest 500. I would invest 1,000. Somebody would invest 10,000. Now, all of us together would make a pool of, say, thousands of crores, maybe 5,000 crores. Now, this company or the asset management company, either Reliance or this, what they do, they have fund managers. A fund manager is an expert in the stocks. So he will take our money. He will invest by diversifying in different companies. He will just invest in 40, 50 companies so that the risk reduces. And so the risk reduces. And you need not even have to bother about it. You just need to make sure that you are investing in the right fund. Now, what is a right fund? Just because I invested in a fund and I'm getting a good return, is that a good fund for you? No. There is a way of actually looking into it. We need to understand a risk appetite of each person. Your risk appetite, my risk appetite, anybody else's risk appetite is different. Just brief, of what happens when you invest in mutual funds? Let's say, for example, you're getting an average, if you're investing for a period of say 8-12 years, the minimum returns that you get is a CAGR, that is cumulative growth rate, or an XIR, what we call. In simple terms, we get a return of around say 12% minimum if you're investing for long term. What happens is this is compounded. When I say compounding, the power of compounding is, it's like, let's say, it starts small. Okay, it starts small. You get 12%. Say you invested 10,000, 12%. It becomes 13,200. Then 13,200 is reinvested. You get another 12%. So the growth is gradual, but when it goes straight up. This is how it goes. I'll show you in a very simple example. Now, let's say, looking at the screen, I give you two options. I give you option one, wherein you get a salary of 30 lakh rupees. Or I say, you can take 1 paisa per day, which will double every day for the next 30 days. That is, today 1 paisa, tomorrow it will become 2 paisa, the next day it will become 4 paisa, and then the day after it becomes 8 paisa, and so on. So which one will we choose? I mean, if I can just have a quick answer, somebody, if you're listening, just somebody can just give me an answer. Which one will you choose? You can just type or something and just say either say 1 for 30 lakhs and 2 for 1 paisa. Let's not make it monotonous. Let's try to have a reply from you guys. Can anyone just reply, or anyone? I just type 1 or 2. Which one will you take? Will you take 30 lakhs, or you will take 1 paisa per day for the next 30 days, which is double every day? Okay. Some say 1, some say 2. Okay. Now, I'll just show you a simple calculation. I just worked it out on an Excel here. Let's say I take 1 paisa, which doubles every day. Now, this is what I get. Day 1, I get 1 paisa. Day 2, it is 2 paisa. Day 3, 4 paisa. After 10 days, it becomes 5 rupees. 10 days, 1 paisa takes to become 5 rupees. The same way when it's compounding, in 20 days, it becomes 5,242 rupees. But in 30 days, the same compounding becomes 53 lakhs 68,000. So this, Einstein has said, this is, one of the wonders of the world is the power of compounding. I'm not saying that you will make your money, in 30 days, but I'm just saying, like, if you say keep it as 30 years, or keep it as 10 years, or 12 years, this is how your money will grow. This is how your money is going to grow. It's much more better than having a 1 paisa per day instead of having 30 lakhs per day. Right? Now, this is what happens when you invest either in stocks or companies or in assets that is giving you a return, let it be real estate. Or let it be real estate, or let it be your proprietary products, or it may be investing in a company. Let's see what are the types of mutual funds that is available. We have equity mutual fund. Equity is like investing 100% only in stocks, in shares of a company. They are invested in the National Stock Exchange or the Bombay Stock Exchange. So these funds are only invested in stocks. Next is you have debt. Debt are like investing in bonds, in non-convertible debentures. It is invested in Government of India securities. It is invested in corporate FDs. These are debt markets. And then you have hybrid. Equity is very risky. Debt is not very risky. Equity gives high returns. In finance, we have, higher the return, higher the risk, lower the return, lower the risk. Likewise, in equity, the risk is high, but the returns are higher, but the risk is also very high. Debt, risk is low, the returns are also moderately low. People who do not have a very big risk appetite, hybrid is something where you have a balance of both equity as well as in debt together. That ratio can be 50-50%, can be 30-20%. I mean, 30 and 70%, it could be 10 and 90%, depends on how your risk appetite is, it needs to be taken. That's why I had said that a fund which is good for you is not good for me. A fund that is good for me may not be good for somebody else. And then in equity, we have one more fund which is called the ELSS, or Equity Linked Savings Scheme. This is a tax saving scheme under Section 80C. Under Section 80C, you can save up to 1.5 lakhs. The amount that is invested into this is exempted from tax. Some people invest in, you can invest in your PFs, EPFs, national pension schemes and other investments which is there. Insurance are there. Insurance, again, I would always say insurance, you need to be very careful in insurance. I know people who have 4 or 5 life insurances, which is of no use. Everybody needs just one life insurance, and that is a term insurance. Term insurance is something which secures the future of your family. It is very cheap. Okay, do not go for this ULIP schemes, guaranteed return. They'll have there are a lot of people, a lot of agents. The main purpose of conducting the sessions is tomorrow when you go to invest also, you should know that your agent, your bank, even banks have target. They try to force product which is not good for us. So we need to understand which is good for us. There are tax implications as well as mutual funds. There's short-term capital gain tax and as well long-term capital gain tax. Short-term is if you sell it within 1 year, then depending on which tax bracket, if you're in 20% tax bracket or 30% tax bracket, the income is taken as source from other income, and you will be taxed as per your slab. The long-term capital gain tax is very simple. It is like if your gain is more than 1 lakh rupees, then any amount above 1 lakh is taxed by 10%. 5 smart investment steps to financial freedom. Now, this is something should be followed for anybody, irrespective of which age you are, what you're doing. This is how you should start your financial planning. First, always start early. Start early. I always say the best age to start is the moment you start earning, in your 20s. If you are going to start, why 20s? Because when you start in your 20s, you need to invest lesser money for longer period. Your investments need not be the amount of money that you invest. Your investment should always be on the duration that you invest. There are people will say, you would have heard this chit funds are there. And there are a lot of other Ponzi schemes that are there that they would say you give your money, or this network marketing schemes are there. They will say, you give your money, you introduce 10 people, you get more money. These are all, what do you say? These are scams. I would call them scams, because you cannot become rich overnight. You cannot increase your wealth immediately overnight. Increasing your wealth takes time. It is the amount of time that you invest, not the amount of money that you invest. I would say if you want to invest 1 lakh, I would say don't invest 1 lakh. I would say invest 10,000 rupees into 10 months. That is how I will say. I would say break it up. You want to invest 10,000 rupees, I say invest 1,000 rupees every month. That is how I will say. I also don't say invest 10,000 rupees, because if I invest more, I'll get more. Invest with time. Because when you invest with time, and that too when you're investing into the equity market, the market will go high, market will go down. there will be fluctuation in the markets. So when there is a fluctuation, when the price comes down, we buy more. When the price goes high, we buy less. This is what happens when we go in a systematic way of investment. Next is always create an emergency fund. This is before we start an investment. Before we start an investment, we need to create an emergency fund. What is an emergency fund? But let's say, for example, we lose our job in this pandemic. A lot of people lost their job. We lose our source of income. So when I don't have a source of income, how will my expenses go for the next few months till I find another job? And so an emergency fund is fund that is your basic expenses that you have, your rent expenses, your household expenses, your food expenses. If you're having any loans, the EMIs that is there. So that amount, let's say that is 20,000 rupees per month, your expense every month, example. So you should at least keep an emergency fund for 6 months. So you should have 1,20,000 in your savings account. Do not touch it unless and until there is an emergency. It can also be a medical emergency that comes. But that money should always be there. That is an emergency fund. It's only when you have emergency fund, then you need to plan for investment. Without emergency fund, don't invest. Because if you make investment today, tomorrow you have emergency, you will always break your investment. So that you would have invested for 1 year, then after 1 year, again, you will start from zero. So always start with an emergency fund. And also plan yourself. For example, what kind of emergency risks that we can have? One is medical, unexpected medical expenses that anybody can have. Right? It's always better to have a health insurance. And health insurance is very, very important. Earlier you take it, lesser the premium. More later you take it, as you grow older, the premium is going to be high. But it would cover your emergency. And another one I would say is a term insurance in case of, in case of risk to life. And if you are the only earning members in the family, then a term insurance will cover the expenses of your families in future. These are the only two insurance that you need to keep, and you need to have an emergency fund, which is there, which can be used, which can be withdrawn anytime in case of any kind of emergency. So if I have money for 6 months and I don't have a job, I have enough time to look out for a job which is suiting my requirement and not take any job that is taken out of desperation. Before investing, always invest with a financial goal. Very important. I'm going to invest. Why am I investing? Because Arif is investing? No. Because so-and-so is investing? No. I am investing because I have an objective. I want to invest. It could be for my children's education. It could be I want to build a house. It could be for my retirement. This is an objective. Okay. It could be for my daughter's wedding. It could be I want to take a holiday. So whatever your objective, you need to, it's very important you have an objective. Your objectives can be one, it can be many. If it is many, you need to give priority one, which is most important. Then once you have the objective, then you decide on the goal. Goal is, let's say my objective is retirement. I want to retire at the age of 55, example. So at the age of 55, I want 1 crore rupees. So if I want 1 crore rupees, so this is a goal, giving a time and giving a amount, the value. This is a goal. So you need to understand that if I am going to, how much I need to invest every month for the next 10, 12 years till I reach 55 years to attain 1 crore goal. So that is a goal. So now you know how much you want and when you want. I want to buy a house. Say I want to buy a house today, which is 50 lakh rupees. I say I'll buy this after 5 years, but then I'll have to consider inflation. That 50 lakh rupee house after 5 years, maybe 60 lakhs or 65 lakhs. So I will have to, my goal is earning 65 lakhs in 5 years. Now to earn 65 lakhs, how much I need to invest, right? So what we're trying to say is you need to plan your investments in such a way that you always have a rule. A rule is, let's say we have an income of 20,000 rupees. The rule always says 50% is for your need. 50% is your need. That is your rent, your expenses, your living expenses that is there that you have. You used it for it. Then you can have 30% for your wants. 30% wants in the sense like, let's say today I'm not going to cook food. I want to order some from Hakim Biryani. I'll order biryani. Or I would want to buy a new mobile phone. So the 30% of the income, okay, may not be, let's say I want 30% maybe of 20,000 is 6,000 rupees, but I want to buy 10,000 rupees phone. So I will 6,000 this month, I will add 6,000 next month, and I'll buy the phone. 20% always invest for your future. 20% of your income should be invested for your future. It's only then, over a period of time, you will be able to increase your net worth. So it's very important to have financial goals. Without financial goals, do not invest. Avoid debt traps. Avoid debt traps. Like for example, what they do is, I want to buy a phone. Amazon, I'll go into Amazon, I'll see there's a phone available. I always give phone example because a lot of people are more crazy over gadgets. So my budget is say 20,000 rupees for a phone, but I'll see a phone that is there for 70,000, and there it will say 0% EMI. So I'll say, okay, so I will take a 70, my budget is 20,000, but I'm taking in 70,000. Why? Because I'm getting it at 0% EMI, which basically means that I would be into a financial commitment of paying the 70,000 over a period of time. I've paid more than 50,000. I have a two-wheeler, but I want to buy a car. But I'll buy a car in an EMI. An EMI for 5 years. Right? What happens? Avoid taking loans, is what I'm trying to say. Loans with interest will only, reduce or increase your financial burden. And when your financial burden increases, you will not be able to make investments. Avoid debt traps. Avoid taking unwanted loans unless and until it is really necessary. Do not take it. Like for example, a student loan is necessary, you can take it, but even then you need to understand how much you'll have to pay over a period of time. Last but not the least, seek advice from a financial planner. But seeking advice from a financial planner, you should also do your research. It is very important to do your research because financial agents, even banks, I know a lot of cases where they try to sell you a product or an investment product which is not beneficial for you, but because they have targets. So it is very important. Before very recently, a friend of mine in Hyderabad, he is an MBA. He is an MBA. He is working with a very good company in a good position. He said, Arif, I made an investment. I said, very good. I asked, which fund? Where did you invest? He said, mutual fund. I said, very good. Which fund? He said, I do not know. Then who knows? He said, the agent told me I did it. I said, what? It is your money. When it is your money, you need to understand where you are investing. If you are leaving it to somebody else to decide for you, just because you don't understand, I'm sorry, you are not going to make money, you're going to lose money. Always try to understand where your money is being invested. Always try to understand what are you going to get, what is the actual gain. I know there's an insurance scheme. You invest 1 lakh rupees every month, you get for 10 years. After 12th year, till age of 99, you will get 70,000 rupees. How is that going to help me? 70,000 rupees when if I live to 99 years, the value of that 70,000 rupees will be not even 5,000 rupees because of inflation. So with this, I would actually like to conclude. We will have sessions for questions as well. And before that, I would just like to say that I would share this link here on the chat. This is 11 personal financial rules. It's a small guide which is compiled by me. It is some rules like what you need to do while making investments. So you can download this for free from my website. I will just share this link on the chat over here so that everybody can just download it. And I would request Zakir sir if you can actually do it on if you can also do it on the YouTube if there are people there. So this is the link. Anyone can go download it, and it's completely free. And I also have a lot of other guides which have been written by me on behavioral science on the same platform, which can be downloaded for free. If you want, anyone can do that. And now, if any questions you'll have, I would be more than happy to answer. I would love it if you have questions. And please remember one thing, asking questions does not mean I have not understood. Asking questions means you have understood. So that is why, or you want to understand. So please feel free to ask questions in whatever subject with regards to personal finance and investments you'll want to do. I'm ready, I'm open. Or if you have anything that you have already done something investments and you want to ask questions on that, I'll be happy to answer on that as well.
எல்லா ஸ்டாஃப்ஸையும் கேதர் பண்ணி நம்ம உட்கார வச்சுட்டு ஒரு போட்டோ குரூப் போட்டோ மாதிரி எடுத்தா கொஞ்சம் நல்லா இருக்கும். அதான் இதை முடியட்டும், அதை சாப்பிட்டு சொல்லி.
Yes, sir. So if anyone has a question, they can just type in the chat box and I'll read it out.
Sir, Arif sir, you have explained everything in a lucid manner. That's why I think the participants, they have understood your presentation. It is self-explanatory also.
Okay, but okay. Thank you so much. But if you still have any doubts, any things, I'll be more than happy. And I'm just sending the link again. Download the financial guide for free from this link here. I've mentioned it in the chat box as well. And one more thing, I just wanted to say, like, if at all, anybody is looking for any free consultation on investments for Jafar Mohammed College staff and students and anybody related to them, we have zero consultation fee. We do it free. Either I would be there or my team would be there.
Hello. Sir, Abbas sir.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Now I request Dr. U. Jagirishan sir, our organizing secretary of our webinar, to propose vote of thanks.
Assalamu alaikum. First and foremost thought is to thank the Almighty. And even program where a lot of people participate cannot be arranged run by one person. It is always a team behind. Plus, there are a lot of people attending, addressing, guiding in this one-day national webinar on personal finance literacy. I take privilege to thank all of you who present on this occasion. I heartful thank to our magnanimous management committee secretary and the correspondent sir, treasurer sir, assistant secretary sir, and a member and a honorary director sir for giving us an opportunity to serve as organizing secretary in our esteemed institution, and also permit us to conduct this one-day national webinar on personal finance literacy very successfully. Thank you, sir. I believe that without the support of principal, vice principal, and additional vice principal, it's not possible to complete a task success. Today's national webinar is success because of their valuable support. Thank you, sir. I express my deep sense of gratitude to directors, hostel administration for their fullest support in conduct of this national webinar in a grand manner. Thank you, sir, madam. Then this is the time to thank our guests. I need to multiply the word thank you 1,000 times to match it with your effort to deliver an wonderful awakening speech. If time is money, then today you have spent millions of money for our participants of this one-day national webinar. One must thank the people who made an impact in their life. Our guest inspired, lightened the personal finance literacy to our faculties and other participants to work and manage with their personal income. I would like to thank you for sparing your valuable time with us. Thank you, sir. I take this opportunity to thank our HOD, who is the real guiding force in smooth conduct of national webinar. Thank you, sir. This is the teamwork with the effective support of our faculty members, both men and women, other faculty members, and other national level participants for their August presence in online mode to grace this occasion a grand success. Thank you, sir. Once again, and I thank one and all. Thank you. Thanks. Hello, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. My pleasure
Thank you.
being here.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Shall we close? Is it over or how was it?
Okay, Arif sir.
Take it, sir. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I'll take your leave.
Okay. Feedback. Hello.